I ran out of covers. I do have one of Skipper's covers in there I need to put on there. This is just a piece of solid surface.
Okay.
This is your inner cover. And then once you get that open, you smoke them again. Yeah.
Go down.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Get them down and not in a defensive mode is what you're hoping for.
Exactly. It's all Charlie's up for.
And typically what you want to do is inspect the bottom box first.
Okay.
So I'm going to pop this one off, set it over there, and I'm going to pop this one off, set it over there. Then I'll start my inspection. So if you start at the top and keep smoking them down,
oh yeah,
all your bees are going to be down here. So when you get to that bottom box,
it's going to be full of bees.
It's going to be almost impossible. And they could be very defensive because there'll be tons of bees in there. But if you break them a little at a time and separate them, then they're not as many, so it's not an issue. And as your hive gets older, you'll have more propolis and things will be more stuck together. But this is a new hive this year, so, and that is got a little weight to it. It's not a ton of weight. Now I'll just smoke them down just a tiny bit. Let them know that I'm there. And sometimes when you're cracking these boxes too, you would smoke it. If there's a lot of bees or they're being defensive, you can just pop that open.
Oh, just kind of doing that. Just shoot it on
and just give them a second to calm down, and then just pop that off. And if you're putting your fingers on the front side, sometimes the bees go on that, so just be careful.
Oh yeah, not to crush
Especially
them.
these girls, they're trying to go to the upper entrance. Now it looks like there's a swarm in the air, doesn't it?
It does, almost.
It's all of the foragers that are coming back. They're used to going to that top entrance.
I'm like, where the heck is it?
It confuses them, yeah. So, and another thing that I do, I typically like to, these sometimes hold water, but I like to keep these girls in the dark.
Oh yeah,
because they live in the dark, so then they won't fly out and try to get at me.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah. So again, this hive, I think I gave them one frame that was partially drawn out a month ago, and this was a swarm. All of this is drawn out now. You can see it. You can see how it's wide. They're putting honey in there, so we got to make sure that she's not backfilling the nest and stuff. A lot of this stuff, you want to go ahead and scrape this off.
Just extra.
Yeah. I thought I saw an egg in there. I was going to try to show you an egg. But yeah, because when you put the boxes back together, if you're not perfectly aligned, you could smash a bee in there, and you just don't want to do that.
Oh, yeah, you never want to smash a bee for nothing.
Yeah, if possible.
Exactly.
And if you just wiggle while you're doing this, it gives them a chance to get out of there. And I like to use these. The first year I used those, and you use whatever you're comfortable with, but for some reason they don't think this is skin, so they don't know to attack it. Yeah.
Okay.
You can just shake them off.
Now, there was a guy I was watching who did that too, and he's like, yeah, they don't recognize it as, okay, I have to consider that.
Yeah, it's just a weird texture. This is a queen cell. This probably was on the upper one, so you got to make sure there's no queen or no cells or no larvae in there. And there's nothing at all in there.
Yeah.
So now if there was, I would just kind of freeze and maybe set that frame aside, because I'd have to make sure that the queen's still in here, because if there wasn't, that may be their backup. And sometimes if this thing starts going nuclear like that, you just set it on its side.
Oh, set it on its side.
Let me step over here real quick. So this is a frame rest. You don't have to have these. You can always set these somewhere if you have room, but I've got so many boxes I don't have any room. And that's basically just so you can set. Yep. And you really only need to set one, maybe two out. Okay, so this one is still foundation, so they haven't drawn this one out totally yet. So the foundation is that plastic base there, and then they draw it out, and that's nectar in there. It's a mixture of pollen and nectar. That's called bee bread, and that's what they'll feed directly to the young. That is actually fermented, and it'll last a really long time like that.
That's brilliant.
And this is partially drawn out, so then you usually just set the first one out unless there's something on it that seems like it may be an issue to leave it out. Like if the queen's on there, you don't want to leave her outside the hive and stuff. And take your time. No need to rush. Using your tool to, use the leverage.
Oh yeah.
Some people are like, they pick at it and stuff like that.
Just use leverage for the tool though.
Yep. Just use leverage and take your time, so it'll stick in here and stuff. So, and I usually pick up on the ears. You can pick up here. You can pick up almost anywhere. You just pick up where there's the least amount of bees. There's usually less bees on the edge, and when you pick it up, make sure you get a good hold. And then you stick your finger underneath your middle fingers.
Oh, your middle finger just extra.
So.
And that's capped honey, right?
This is capped honey. That's all nectar. There's a little bit of pollen, looks like underneath some of that, and there's some pollen. The pollen is the dry stuff. Again, this is pollen and nectar mix. Looks liquidy or shiny. That's
okay, when it looks shiny,
bread.
and then pollen's the dry stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
So she's bringing it in. They'll combine it with that, and then they can feed it over to the brood. This is definitely a resource frame. This is on the outside edge. Once you start getting to more and more pollen, you're getting really close to the brood nest, which is where the baby bees will be.
Excellent.
So they still haven't drawn this out yet either.
It's amazing to see them work, though.
Yep.
Goodness, it's like seeing them in videos and seeing in person is completely different.
That's a drone bee right there.
Oh,
See his
really?
eyes touch together in the middle?
Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah.
really big.
He's a big bird of feathers.
Yep, and their back end, it rolls over. It's not as pointed as the girl's because he doesn't have a stinger. He has a phallus. But so this side's drawn out, so I could always rotate this to help them draw it out the other way. I think I'll leave it the way it is right now.
Okay.
I may end up putting that last frame in here, though. That may encourage them to draw it out a little bit quicker. Because they usually do these outside frames, they'll draw them out last.
Gotcha.
But if you have drawn out frames, you can just slide them to the outside, put the other ones in the middle, and they'll get to it.
Oh, yeah, if you're filming in the middle, they'll start working on those.
Absolutely, yeah, because they'll be bridging across it, and they'll be like, hey, why don't we draw this out? All right.
Is that brood right there?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Dead center is cat brood. If you look off to the left here, this is open larvae. And when it's in that white,
I see them.
See the white that they're in? That's royal jelly. So if they're very healthy, then they'll be in that pool of royal jelly. If sometimes they're not, and you just see the larvae in there, that's usually okay too, but there's a flow on right now. So
okay.
You want to see, typically you see a little honey in the corner, nectar, pollen, larvae, cat brood. So this is a really good frame. Now see, they're not drawing this out the way I'd like them to, but there's not much I can do about that. Sometimes if you don't buy really good frames or don't have them waxed well, they may not draw it off, because what they do is they pull the wax off and they put it somewhere else.
Oh, gotcha. So they'll just reuse it for another part.
Yeah. And then this longer stuff is drone brood.
I see. Oh, there's one that's it's put out right now.
Yeah, that's a girl in there. She's probably getting nectar in there. See, when you smoke them down, they go in and get nectar. And then you can touch them too to get them out of your way, or you can smoke them or just blow on them too.
Okay.
They just get out of your way.
Oh yeah, they'll just scatter.
But that's drone brood.
Right yeah, it's like kind of a taller one. Is that drone brood as well right there?
Yep, sure is. Sure is. Looking over at this side. Wow, look at that. Red pollen in there. That's beautiful.
Oh wow.
So again, nectar, pollen, and then this is polished, so potentially you would expect she could be laying in this space, and they'll try to leave that center open for her to come back.
Is that a drone right there, the big one? Okay.
Yep. Again, the eyes touch together.
Yeah, that's right.
If it's a queen, the abdomen will stick out pretty far past the tips of the wings.
Big one.
And the one in here, she has a yellow dot.
Yellow dot, all right. So,
which tells me that she's last year's queen. And I usually mark my queens so that I know, one, how old they are, and then two, if this hive decided I don't like that queen and we're going to make a new one, and the next time I get in here I see a queen that doesn't have a yellow dot, it may have superseded her.
Gotcha.
So
like she either died or swarmed.
Yep. Yeah, if they didn't like her, sometimes they'll kill her.
Oh, they'll kill her too. Yeah,
Yep.
That's right.
Or they could have swarmed. Yep.
This one, busy.
So that's very, very good frame right there.
Wow.
Again, I'd rather build that out edge to edge, but yeah, that's all cat brood. So a frame of this is equal to about 2 frames of bees once they hatch, and then they're going to be under these cappings for, let's see, 2 weeks, and then they'll hatch out and boom. Again, you got your drone combs over here. Got to be careful some of these bottom ones, make sure there's no queen cups.
Okay.
Sometimes
if
you look
they
at the
like to build
bottom.
on the bottom. Okay.
Sometimes in the middle too, but mostly on the bottom. Cat brood, pollen, or nectar, and then honey. See a couple open larvae, drone brood in there. Drone brood at the bottom. See, and again, since this wasn't waxed well, that's why they're making that funky stuff on the bottom. And then these are queen cells here. You got to be careful.
You said, oh, I see them now. Those queen cells up there.
And I don't see anything in that one, so I usually tear them down. So people are like, well, they're just going to build them back. Yes, but if they put an egg in that today, it takes 8 days before they cap it. So if I come out here next weekend and it's done again, and then there's royal jelly and stuff in there, well, I'll know that they've rebuilt it. But if I don't take it down, then I don't know that it could have been the one from last week.
That's some more queen cells right there?
Yep, sure is. And there's nothing in them. So, and some bees just make these. If the comb is funky and it's hanging off like that, they'll just make them. So,
well, hey, why not? You know,
you got space for it, huh?
Got room.
Yep, and those are drone comb there. So
Brilliant.
that's it. So some people inspect much quicker than I do, but I just prefer to not take my time and enjoy it, and then try not to smash any bees if possible. And when you put them together, these, I call them shoulders. I should probably explain that. This is what I call the ears, because they rest on this rabbit.
Okay, the rest on a rabbit.
This is the shoulder. When I put them down, I try to slide them together. Some people push each frame across, but you're going to smash bees in here if you just keep pushing them across.
Okay.
So when you go in, when you set the next one in, you just drop it in, so you lessen your chances of smashing bees. Again, if they're in your way, you just kind of push them, and they'll move right out of the way.
Come on, girl. Wow, that is a really cool one.
Yeah. Ah, this is a good frame. All right. Do you see anything down in here?
Let's see. Anything down in there?
See anything at all on the bottom of those cells?
Those. Let's see. I see. Are those? Oh, I see the eggs.
Yep.
I see eggs in there.
Yep. So there's eggs right down here, and then when you see that little drop in there, they're about 3 days old when they hatch, and then they're starting to put royal jelly in there, and they'll put just enough in there for each one. So if you see it with a little drop next to it, that's a larvae. So those are about 3-4 days old, and this is all cat brood. So that means when this hatches out, she came back and she laid again. So she's been here within 3 or 4 days.
Okay. And what's the gestation cycle for like
a worker bee is 21 days.
21
so
days.
from when she lays that egg, it takes, let's see, 8 days, and then they'll cap it, and then 2 more weeks, then they'll hatch out. And I'm thinking I'll just take some of this extra off and double check, make sure there's no queen cells there. I don't see any. So we did see eggs on this side, so we should be close to a queen. She may have gone straight up too, though, because remember we have 2 boxes.
True enough.
Pollen, nectar, cat brood. I don't see any eggs. Oh, I do see some eggs. Got some eggs right in here. So she's starting here, and then she'll work her way back out as they hatch out. So just a few right up in there.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I see why some of them use magnifying glasses.
Yes, yes, and
I got my eyes are I'm blind, but that's why I got the glasses. they help.
Yeah. So when you put these together, if you just rest them on the edge and just slide them down, then you won't smash any. But if you left it apart and then pushed it together, a bee could get in there and then you'd smash it.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
But yeah, also, well, you don't have an iPhone, but you could take a picture and you can zoom in. I mean, if you needed to see if there's eggs and stuff.
Do that too. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely a good idea too. You have to take a picture if you can't see it.
Exactly. Then you can at least look at it later. Got it closer.
Like, okay, there are those eggs in there. Oh, yeah, there they are.
Some people actually take a picture of all their frames, which is, I can see that could be pretty time consuming.
I mean, I guess worst case in your case, you could just do the camera on it and you're like, oh, there it is.
Exactly. So these are all larvae or brood.
Oh, yeah, very big.
The queen is on this frame, and she has a yellow dot.
I see her right there.
Yep. So I usually put a small dot. Some people put bigger dots. I just do enough to mark her and then get out of her way.
Okay, awesome.
So she's looking for an open spot now, and then usually she'll have some bees that follow her. That's called a retinue, and they'll feed her and do whatever she needs to do.
She's got the elongated gastric.
Yeah. Her abdomen is way beyond her wingtips. I'll take this extra off.
Is that just a little chunk they built up right there?
Yeah, this probably bridged over to the other
bridged
comb.
over. Okay, that
yeah,
makes sense
so we'll
now.
see that when we pull the next
Oh,
thing.
yeah, I kind of see it now. I'm looking at it.
And then I need to pop this open. It's fine. Sometimes if you pull this out, they'll rebuild it. Just want to get that out there so they won't. See her still?
Yeah. See up the area right there. Yeah. Yellow dot really makes it easy,
Yeah, absolutely. So yellow dot was last year. All the new ones will be red dots.
So that means that
there you go. So there's a young larvae and stuff in the middle here. So.
Oh yeah, these little young.
She's doing really good. And you usually don't want to keep her out too long, and you want to keep her over a hive, just in case you lose her. But she looks like she's calm. Again, you want your bees to be calm and not swarming at your face all the time.
Definitely, if they're all.
They're just doing what they're going to do. They're not. So one thing I got to be concerned about is when I pull that next frame, I need to slowly push it back towards the face of this one. If she was on this side, I needed to go in slower.
Okay.
But when I put the next one in, I just need to go slowly when I push it back together.
Gotcha, just real slow.
Yeah, just give them a chance to get out of the way. They seem to be doing well. I just need to make sure that they have enough drawn comb. Because that one outside one has very little. So what's happening here is they're hatching out in this ring, and then she'll come back. Yeah, there's eggs in here. Yeah, there's eggs all through down this middle part.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah. And then nectar and pollen. Yeah, cat brood. And then as they get closer to getting more, they'll probably put capped or pollen. They'll put pollen closer to the girls, so they can feed them. If you ever smell like a Laffy Taffy, like banana smell, just let me know. That's usually alarm pheromone. Sometimes they do that, but I haven't smoked them at all since we've opened them, so I can tell they're getting a little irritated. But it's usually all they do is they'll fly towards your face a little bit, and then
I just kind of warn you off. Like,
yeah.
Hey.
Yep. See eggs all through there. Yeah, kind of hard to see, but if you touch them, they'll move out of the way, or you can blow on them.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yep. My breath's worse, so they just part the C's and I blow on them.
Oh gosh. Oh, yeah. I'll brush my teeth tomorrow. It's okay.
Again, so I'm not pushing the shoulders together here because the queen is on that other face. Yeah. So, but this is where you could smash bees if they get in there. So you just go slow, and then if you feel something's in the way, you just kind of bump it, and they'll move out of the way.
Oh, it's kind of like gives a hey, you should move.
Yeah, you'll feel resistance, and then if you feel resistance, just stop. So now that we've inspected the bottom box here, once we finish this one, and you don't have to go all the way through. Usually, as long as there's a queen, you're fine. It's sort of swarm season, so I'm looking at these queen cells.
Just kind of making sure, because this is the time where they'll swarm.
Yes, and this one has swarmed already. This is the swarm. This is very heavy. Okay.
Wow.
That's why. So when they get nectar and stuff, they draw these combs out deeper. So all of that's filled with nectar. See how it's drawn out deeper than the rest of this?
Yeah, it's very deep.
Yeah. That's all cat brood. Nectar, pollen, and capped honey.
I just love how they have like a little system. That's just brilliant. So
Yeah, yeah. And it's just the way that they can keep it warm. You want to hold that one?
So just...
Yep. Anywhere on the side there.
Okay.
And you can just use your lower fingers to manipulate it and rotate it. And I just usually dip my middle finger underneath to flip it over. Yeah.
Wow.
That one's heavy. That's pretty heavy frame.
To it, yeah.
The rest. This is the heaviest frame that we've gotten into so far. But
okay.
And again, I started with the big gloves that you're wearing, and if that's what you want to start with, totally fine. If some bees are different than others, sometimes when they land on your skin, they freak me out because that's where they'll sting me because my gloves aren't very long.
Oh.
I'd almost rather get stung than get my gloves, because I used to get my gloves stuck under the frames, and I was having all these issues, and I could feel everything with
that's
just
the
these.
one thing I could see with these, but you can't really feel as well as you could probably.
Exactly. But if I get stung, it's usually in my fingers, and it's because either I accidentally smushed a bee, because I put my finger down somewhere and didn't realize she was on like the handle or something. I think I may. Gosh, you're such a big hive. You should be able to draw this out. I'm just going to move this one in one. I'm probably going to flip that one. No, I'll flip that one next week. Hopefully they can get going on this one. Oops, killed one.
Oh man.
It happens.
It happens, it does.
It happens.
You have this many little bees.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tight them together.
Yep. Yeah, you want to make sure that there's no gaps, otherwise when they build out those frames really wide, they'll make it so you can't put them back together, which is even worse. So sometimes when I sit it on the side, it goes out, but let's see if I can get it back to life. Oh, is it coming?
I thought I saw a little puff.
I thought I did too. May have just been ashes. Well, that's okay. The other way to get it going. See, if I would have left it longer, there would have been more embers, but again, I don't care since I have this little propane thing.
Oh yeah, you can just light it right back up.
Yep. Get it? And what I do is I'm smoking them down so that when I put the next box back on, they don't get smashed.
Oh.
And then you can just burn the side.
Okay.
You're basically superheating what's inside already, so it won't catch on fire. It'll just
Oh, yeah. I never thought about that.
Yep, you just heat it to that point. And then sometimes if they're coming from my face and stuff, you can smoke yourself and just kind of step back. But
I'm like, okay,
yeah.
girls, calm down.
then they don't have a scent that they're going after. All right. So if you were really looking for the queen, you had to find the queen, which most of the times you do not have to find the queen. You can inspect these off of that box.
Okay.
But if you, I don't need to find the queen. We've already found the queen. So what I do is I put these bees back on here to let them calm down. And then if I need to smoke them, they'll go down to the lower box. I gotta be careful too. I'm not smashing any up here on the front, which it may happen. It's been known to happen.
It can happen, yeah.
But
I don't think you got me that time. It's like, hey, baby.
good deal. And again, I keep the cover on this, so if there is nectar and stuff on here, other bees find it, they could
start robbing.
Yes, they could be robbing. Robbing is not something you want because they'll all go crazy.
Oh goodness.
Then you pretty much just have to stop. That's a queen excluder. Some people use them, some don't. It keeps the queen from passing through. She's just a little bigger. Keeps the drones from passing through too, but the drones are hatched out down here so they don't go up there.
Okay.
Unless they flew in through the top. It's always a possibility, but they can fly back out the top.
Wouldn't you want to use a queen excluder to keep, like, well, I guess if your intention is like raising honey, then, or making honey.
Yes. Some people think that it's a honey excluder because less bees want to pass through it. But the point of having it is, well, if they start laying in your brood chambers or in your honey chambers, then they're more likely to get that wax eaten by a wax moth or something else.
Okay.
So that's why I prefer to have it. But it may slow them down, but I create a top entrance. So if, like we saw this box, a lot were going in the top and some were going in the bottom. That's wise, because they know that they're going to store some, they go in the top, not they're going in the bottom.
So they're starting to build that out, right?
Yep. Yep. So I try to rub some on there so you see this, but this is definitely starting to get drawn out. And that's coming out.
And it requires just like a tiny little bit of wax for them to start, right? If there's no wax on it, they're like, I don't think.
Yes, that's on that bottom one. I'm sure you saw where I didn't have enough wax on it. They'll just ignore it, or they'll build really funky comb. And
oh yeah, they look real weird.
I hope we don't see that today, but there's been a few that have been sort of like that I've had trying to deal with. But and this is a drone comb. This is another thing for mites, but this is only it's a larger size cell, and it's specifically for her to just lay drones in here. Varroa mites love drones, love them. So we get a little bit of funky comb here. So what they do, they'll smell the drones and they'll go in there because they're under the cappings for 3 days longer, and that's enough for them to make 1.5 extra Varroa mites.
So is this pretty much a mite trap type thing?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. Certain times of year, if I have queens that are out that need to be mated, I'll let them hatch out so that we have enough drones in the area. But again, our girls typically don't mate with our own girls.
Oh, yeah.
They usually mate with girls from different hive, but I still try to saturate the area just in case it's a possibility. So there's open larvae, and again, this is all drone comb, so it's deeper.
It's big.
Yeah, and the cells are much bigger. And then it looks like they may have pulled some wax off of here. So usually if you take this down, they'll rebuild it. So this time of year, since there's a flow, I'll take it down. If there's no flow, sometimes you just leave it. But you don't want the queen to get behind there and actually get smushed, or really don't want any of the bees to get behind there and get smushed, really.
Definitely. Be careful.
But you can also get small hive beetles back there.
Oh, yeah.
They start creating little nooks for pests. They'll utilize it.
Give them a way, they'll do it. Right?
Yeah. There's a little larvae right there.
Oh, you know.
It came out, but and then gotta careful too on these edges. There's a queen cup right there.
Is that a queen cup right there? Still?
Yep, sure is. Yeah. So usually they'll draw right out to the edge. They must be peeling the wax off. Like she's doing that right now. She's ripping wax off so they can use it somewhere else. But this one didn't get drawn all the way. So some of the frames in here, not this one in particular, but are just ones I had to get from Amazon because I Skipper wasn't coming by the time that I needed them, and they're not coated well. I even tried to coat some of them. And, actually, there's an egg right there. The corner of my tool.
The corner?
They try to lay it on the... Oops, I just touched it.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. Try to lay on the end there. Yeah, see there's a bee underneath right there.
Oh, yeah, right underneath there, yeah.
Exactly what you don't want. But this is fresh comb. Fresh comb, freshly drawn out. It's going to look this nice waxy color. Once the larvae are in there, they spin a cocoon, which is a really dark color, and then your wax will start getting really, really dark. So they suggest cycling it out every few years. There's one right there. Queen cut.
Oh yeah, man.
But see how they created a cavity into there?
A little cavity. It goes underneath.
And that's, once you get a cavity, it creates a horizontal or a vertical position to put a queen cell, and then they'll put it in there. Maybe killing some of these, but yeah. So sort of a drone trap, or sorry, a mite trap, and then you just freeze them, and then you put it back in there, and they'll either eat the larvae or they'll kick them out, and then when they kick them out, the chickens will eat them. So
your chickens get free food.
Exactly.
Win-win.
And that's the drone comb. Not drawn as well as I'd like it to be, but it's okay. The frames I got from Skipper, I mean, they are drawing them out like crazy. Is that you? Can you get that?
That's my phone. No, I'm just trying to mute it. There we go.
You can get it if you need.
Let's see.
Gotcha. Oh, nice.
Yep, it's just her. I can talk to her.
You can go ahead. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it's all good.
Again, any of the extra stuff, I just like to take it off because it could be queen cells, or you could smash them between this and the frame that's going to be below it in a little bit. It's all cat brood. So again, that'll be two frames pretty soon. There's young larvae in there. So they're really running out of space. Yeah. A lot of nectar and then pollen and cat brood. So, I mean, it's what you want to see. This is a good looking hive.
It is.
And again, she has a yellow dot, so she made it through the winter last year.
Did you have any die over the winter, or did they all make it?
They all made it.
It's always nice to hear all the y'all stuff.
Yeah.
Sure, it's a relief.
But
you just come out like that.
Well, all of the ones that are out here now are from the original 6, and technically only 3 of them swarmed. So this one swarmed out of there, so that's the overwintered queen. So she doesn't have an overwintered queen, but she's got a new queen now. Those have the overwintered queens, and then one of these swarmed out, and she's in the other big one.
Okay.
So, but all these other ones are from this year. That's what I'm trying to sell off, and then also have as a backup. Show you this bee real quick. So she doesn't have any hairs on her. She's getting older. They'll be really fuzzy when they're young.
Okay, they're fuzzy when they're young. When they get older, so
She's probably on her way out.
An old lady, I should say.
Yeah. Sometimes when you see a lot of smooth ones, it's an issue. But see, she's got pollen on her, so she's definitely a forager. Now there's a baby bee right there, a really young one. See all the fuzz all over her?
Oh yeah.
She's moving through there.
Yeah,
even her eyeballs look fuzzy.
So they almost look like lighter, I'd say.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah, they got like blonde hairs. Pollen. That's pretty good to me.
Looks like they're.
Yeah. Queen cup.
Queen cup, yeah.
Yep. Pop it off and just sit it down there. Pollen and nectar and cat brood. And that's honey again. That's it.
Yeah. Yes. It's like seagull.
It's probably propolis. This may have been one that was
like
used
the
before.
color on it?
Yeah, or it may have just been a slightly different type of frame.
It is like a bit.
Yeah, this is yellow foundation. I typically like to have black foundation, so if you try to see eggs in here, it's really hard to see. I don't know if there are any or not. I don't necessarily need to see because we saw them before. See how they're coming out like that?
Yeah.
That means they're not happy. That means I should smoke them right now. But pollen, nectar, cat brood, but they're not going to do anything except for they're going to fly towards me. And then they're going to be like, oh, I'm good. I'll go back. I'll call that pollen. Different colors is good. Different
variety of different flowers.
Yeah, it's like a varied diet. So it's just what we want to. That's kind of straight out. That's probably a drone, but we'll tear it down just in case.
Okay. Yeah, like this, you get a weird one.
Yeah, there's no royal jelly in there, so. I hear you back there. Gave you some.
How many chickens do you have?
We had 2 big ones, and then my wife and I had a long discussion. Said we're done. We don't want to have any more. And then one of her coworkers had some that had like a splayed foot, and it was bent back, and they're like, we're just gonna put it in the coop. If it survives, it survives. She's like, oh no, we gotta have it. So she was able to get a little splint on it, and it was perfectly fine in 2 days.
Oh, that's awesome.
But she was attached to it. So that got us up to 3, but then I told her, I was like, they're social creatures. So we went to Tractor Supply, and their minimum was 6, so we have 9 chickens.
Oh, cool.
So nectar and pollen. So this is typically right next to the brood frame, and that'll keep them going. So I'm guessing these next 2 frames, if they have nectar, and if they're drawn out, it's probably about all we're gonna find. Yeah, actually, they're still working on drawing that out.
I am. We're working on it.
All right, girls, I see you. And they'll fly right towards your face, but they're usually not a.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah. They're usually not even that bad. So that outside one is nothing.
Yeah, bye. Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm taking that. I'm gonna take that. I've got some extra ones over here, so.
These are the ones you pulled out of the freezer?
Yes. So I was pulling them out of different places, and I was trying to cycle comb out. So try to get them out of there. That's why I'd rather not. I'd rather them draw it out with foundation and stuff. But we're getting pretty close to the flow, so I'd rather her have places to lay, which is what this is going to be, than to have. Yeah. So there's open. There's still some nectar and stuff. I'd rather have places to lay than worry about it being a little bit older comb. So she could immediately go up there and start laying if she wanted to. But yeah, you're usually trying to cycle out old comb, and then sometimes I'll put it into the nukes. Depends whoever needs the resources who gets it. But if you ever pull it out of the hive, you really kind of need to freeze it for 24 or 48 hours, or you'll get small hive beetles and stuff in it. I'm not sure if you noticed this. When I tipped the frame, that's all the pollen that they had on their legs.
Oh, okay. I was curious what that was.
If it wasn't packed, it fell out. So.
I saw that and I was like, huh, was that there to begin with?
I think I'm gonna put that frame on the outside because it's drawn out, and then maybe that'll encourage them to get over there and use it. Yeah, and that's all propolis in there. It's kind of like a bee glue. It's actually tree resin and stuff. As long as you can get the frame in a little bit, you can actually use the frame for leverage.
Oh, you can just leverage that.
But usually you want to put the. I've got quite enough space there. Usually you put. You want to put the middle frame in first, but okay. We know where the queen is, so that's not as big of a concern.
Exactly. You never want to smash the queen, that's it.
Yeah. And then if you go slow, the girls will just roll off, and then they'll just go back down.
Oh, it's going on.
They're like, hey, we got a new frame.
That's sweet. And it's filled out.
Yeah. So that's good, and that one's entirely empty. Go back to the queen excluder. So, I was thinking they may need another super because the privet flow is coming, but they still haven't drawn out everything. So, if you give them too much room, they may lose their interest in drawing that out and just start backfilling stuff. But I'm not sure which way I want to go with it. I guess we'll see what's.
Just as they fill it out.
We'll see where we are. Yeah, so as they fill it out, they can move it around. I don't want them to, since it's not all drawn out yet, I also don't want them to have no space to put it. So like if I give them a whole bunch of space to put honey and nectar, they can at least put it somewhere, and if they need to use it, they can always move it down. So, is that what you asked?
Yes, yeah, you answered the question.
These girls up here may be a little more protective. Actually, these girls are coming around my head. Are they buzzing you at all? Or are you good?
Oh no, they've been pretty. I've had like one buzzing, but you know.
Okay. Sometimes if they get really upset, you'll smell that
Laffy Taffy.
The Laffy Taffy banana smell. And I haven't washed my suit often enough. You kind of want to do it once a month, but you got to also be careful because you want to wash it as your last thing, and then kind of let the washer and dryer dry out. Well, the washer really to dry out. And you don't want to wash it with other things because if you get there's stingers in it and stuff.
Oh yeah.
If you get micro doses of that, you could actually become allergic just from.
Oh goodness, that's
mild toxicity. I don't know if it's basically a small dose. So when you get stung, you're getting a decent sized dose, but you won't become immune to it, but you won't become allergic to it. It's just your body does what it does.
If you're hopeful, your body will become resistant, if anything, or at least become a bit more used to it.
You get less of a rash. Yeah, absolutely. So that's pretty good. I mean, we're getting some nectar up here. They are starting to put pollen up here, which may have been right when I put it in. And some nectar, but they're drawing it out. What I tried to do is I tried to put every other frame as a drawn out frame. Oop, there's a hive beetle right there.
Oh, you see it?
Right up here.
Oh, did I see it?
If you can get them, I crunch them. Yeah.
Got
them. But a lot of people are really concerned about them. I was the first year, even some of the second year, as more so in the first year. But if the bees are healthy and strong, then they'll take care of them. If they can't take care of them, then they're not healthy and they're not strong. Sometimes the issue is if you give them too much space that they can't defend. That's the problem. This is one of Skipper's frames. I was just trying to see if they just start drawing it out because it's a little bit right here. It's supposed to have a lot of wax on it, so. But again, there's not a lot of bees up here, so they probably don't need another super. So I'll just let them be.
Just give them a bit of time to build it out some more.
Yep. Again, just check next week and see where we are. Again, the reason I'm checking once a week now is because it's swarm season. It's also going to be honey season here too, so.
Finally.
But I really enjoy it, and it calms me.
Oh, I know. I've been
really peaceful.
Zen.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm like, man, this is good.
Yeah. So when we first got our bees, this is why people tell you get two. We had some that were calm like this, and then we had some that as soon so there's a handful around me now. We had some that were you open the box and there would be 9, 10, 15 of them stuck to your veil. And I was like, man, if that was my only experience was that one hive, I probably wouldn't be a beekeeper today. But
yeah, that was like the first thing, like,
exactly.
This is how they're gonna be.
Yep. And then the one next to it was completely calm, so I was just like, you know what? I think there's a difference here. So we just all we did is I took the queen out. Went ahead and set her off, and I gave her to my mentor. I was like, I can't deal with this, and I got a different queen, put her in there, been calm ever since. So these are queen right, smooth sailing. I put it that way. Everybody has their own little brick orientation thing, or if you take thorough notes, or a lot of times I talk to myself and I'm recording it.
Oh yeah, like hey, like
yeah.
Check.
But then sometimes I don't get back to looking at it before I get into them again, and then it's totally useless. So.
And did you? I saw you had the number. Would you say like, hey, frame 22? Like saw this.
Frame. So that's the year that I put them in. So that helps me. That helps me rotate them out. So because some people number them, but you'll eventually rotate them. So it's not necessary to number them that way. But
will the bees eventually grab the pollen at that, or like, was it just?
No, unfortunately they won't.
Okay.
They will not. But they probably already brought that much back in. It's interesting to see the darker. That would be blackberries.
Oh.
The yellow.
So just kind of flowers.
Yeah, it depends what's blooming, but the dark is blackberry.
I got a few blackberry bushes in my backyard.
Are they blooming?
A few of them are.
Nice. So another thing, this is a hobbyist thing and not a commercial thing. These cost a little more, but it's clear inner cover. You don't want to open your hive in the wintertime, but you know what? You can take the top off and look in there and see how they're doing without inspecting the hive, because they may not be coming out at all. And
is that some old food they had right there? Or is that like propolis and then propolizing?
They propolized it shut. Okay. They propolized it shut. You know what you're talking about. You're ready for some bees, is what I'm hearing.
I like to know a little bit before I jump into it.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I don't want to be that guy who be like, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's get some bees, right?
I was all about it, and I was like, oh, I'm going to research, I'm going to read stuff, I want to help people if I can help people, and that just happened to be 2020. So there happened to be some giant pandemic going on, so I got into somebody's hives once, and that was it. Before I got mine, I was like, well.
Well, I appreciate you taking the opportunity and the time to show me this. It's like,
oh yeah, I enjoy doing it. So if I can teach someone else to enjoy it along the way, that's.
I can find you some fellow hobbyists.
Yeah, exactly. We can all help each other.
All right. That's one thing I've noticed about the beekeeper community. They're all about helping each other.
Absolutely.
And that's something I really enjoy.
Yeah. A lot of different types of people too.
Definitely. I know it's such a. Even at the beekeeper meeting, I was like, man, that's a wide variety of people.
So this is a man lake box, and they are wider than other boxes, which makes them make bridge combs sometimes, and I don't like that. So when they bridge to the outside, sometimes they're tearing stuff off.
When you were taking it off like that. Yeah, there's some bridge
it can tear stuff off. It can roll them. So they're doing a decent job building this out. So sometimes you can rub extra wax on here, like some of that stuff that we torn off. You can rub on there, but there's just so many bees in here right now. Sorry, girls, I'm gonna pull that off. Again, this sets them back a little bit, but it's better to have it than to tear the comb and smash that and potentially lose a queen. So, cat brood, about to be cat probably today, and then you can see the different ages out to the eggs, which is pretty cool. So, a certain word, it shuts off.
Oh.
And then they just keep going around. So, okay. And the nice thing about these nukes is it's really easy to find the queen. Pollen, nectar, honey. So this one probably, this being the outside frame, is probably close to being able to be sold.
You want to cut off that?
Yes, I do. You do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
You just slide it right along the box.
Girls?
Alright, girls, I'll set you up here for now. And if you ever set a frame outside the hive, or if you don't have, see, I don't have room for the frame rest. That's the reason they're outside. You don't want to put them in the sun. And you don't, there you go. You don't want to put them in the sun, basically. And you got to make sure there's no queen on there.
Maybe that rest of that off for you. There you go.
That'll work. Again, if you touch them, they usually get out of the way. You want to go ahead and pop the next frame out? You go ahead. Go for it.
You just put it in like here. Slowly put it in.
Yep. Yeah, sorry, it's a little cramped.
Oh, you're fine.
It's a little cramped. You should always check your inner cover for the queen too. It's been known to happen. You don't want to set that off somewhere and then like, oh, I just lost my queen.
Oh goodness, I just lost the queen.
Yeah. Wherever you can get your fingers in. And again, if you just touch them, if you feel anything under there, you can just take your finger off for a second and they'll move out of your way.
I did it a bit more violently than this. Hey, that's all right.
Gotta start somewhere.
Exactly, right. Alright. And you get your middle finger on it. Let's see, I don't want to smash them, so.
Yep, there you go.
Awesome.
There you go, yeah. So freshly cat brood. You got larvae, you got eggs. Looking really good. Nectar and pollen. Capped honey. There you go. Yeah, I just try to slip my middle fingers underneath if you can.
Gotcha.
It's kind of a weird thing because you're moving your fingers.
Gotcha.
But,
Yeah, it's
you'll get used to that pattern.
Definitely.
That's a really good pattern. And then she's already laid back in this space, so they probably are really close to being sold. I can probably get those.
Oh, I see the eggs. I had to get a bit closer. I couldn't see.
Oh, I didn't even know if I saw any, but I could just see where the pattern was.
You can see the pattern?
As they're beginning to
oh, I see, like that. They capped it right there. Okay.
Yeah, she's going to keep working in that circular pattern and then work her way out. So. Can you set her back in?
Sorry.
Got it?
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
You got it? Yeah, sometimes your fingers will get stuck, so that's why I was kind of grabbing in the middle there. Okay, I got it if you... Yeah, sometimes the little gloves will get stuck in there, but so on this one, it's good to put it on the shoulders, but for this one, we'll leave it out so we have space to take the next one out. So the next one you put in, then we'll slide it on the shoulders. But go for it.
I see why you like the smaller little ones.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't really notice it until before. And when you go to lift the next one, just try to get it equally between the open space so that you're not rubbing bees off the face of the other one.
Gotcha.
You can do that with your fingers. As long as you got it pried apart a little bit, then you can manipulate it with your fingers. Grab that in just a second. I gotta get a picture of you first.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. Very cool.
Let's see. I'll have to get you one. Sorry.
I'll let him grab it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So let's see.
Yep, queen and larvae. Man, so this is the third frame of cat brood.
I'm gonna tear that
Oh, yep.
There we go.
Thank you. Just toss it over there. So eggs all the way to the outside edge. Nectar, pollen, cat brood. This is perfect. This is perfect. This is what you hope to see in all of the nukes. I'm going to go ahead and pull the last one since we haven't seen the queen yet. She's probably going to be on that one. Sometimes I find that they get a little more agitated if you find the one that has the queen on it too. See eggs? Man, this is packed out. I probably need to sell this tomorrow. That's insane. Or I could put a second box on it and have them help build that out. Wow, that's all laid up too. She's got no room.
Busy bees.
I see the queen. She's near the left side.
Near the left side. Oh, no, that's Paul. Saw yellow.
Put your finger out.
Oh, I see a red dot. Yep. Dot.
Pretty cool, huh?
That is really awesome.
She's laid it up. So I've got two options. If I'm going to sell it, then it needs to be done this weekend. If I'm going to keep her because she's got really good genetics, I need to put a second box on her and go ahead and let her keep building up. And then those extra frames she takes, I can take and boost the other frames.
Oh, yes, you can.
So we can continue doing that because she's doing a really good job. And I do like to sell good bees to people. But I also like to have good bees. So
you want to sell and you want to keep them too.
Wow, there's a lot of stuff going on there. I'm going to leave the rest of those, I think.
That is it's a busy box.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave that down there. I'll leave that down there. Why are they building home on the bottom? And where did we see her? She was on this side, right? Or was she on the other side?
She's in the left corner.
Oops, sorry, girls. It's not what I want to do. I think she was on the other side.
Oh, there she is right there.
Oh, good find. So she's a tiger stripe queen. So when you see them like that, see her tail end, black and orange or yellowish. Sometimes they can be mostly yellow. Sometimes they can be almost all black. Pretty cool how different they are.
Yeah, they have variety.
Yeah.
What does the red dot mean? She an overwinter?
I marked her. So red is 2023.
2023. Okay, so
she's from this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I know they have like a coloring system. I just know that.
So where these girls are, you get close, you touch them, and then you go back, let them get out, and then they'll move out of the way. Just like when you put your finger on there. The drones are not as smart as the workers are sometimes, but I think that's going to be.
Oh, there's plenty of drones.
Good enough. Yeah, they're just mooching off the big girls, anyways. I think I am going to put another box on this, and then if the rest of these are not in good shape, I can always take the box off and sell it anyways.
Okay.
Actually, you mind hanging on that?
For sure.
I may put that in the top box to help them move up. It is what it is.
Startled me more than them.
Yeah, they just fall off, and then the sound that you heard them change, they're just like, "Hey, where are we? Oh, we're home.
What's going on?
Hang on." And then sometimes they just fan to release their pheromones so that they know the rest of them can find the way. So. And this was this year too, so these are all 23 frames.
23.
You smell that smell? It smells like a slight lemony smell. So you can stick your nose right in there.
Yeah, I believe I smell it.
That is a come here pheromone. It's like, this is home. So if something gets jostled, they fold over, and that's their Nasonoff gland. It's right on the tip of their abdomen.
Okay.
So the last one. They'll bend it over and they'll start fanning, and that's what you heard is the fanning. And they're like, hey, everybody, come on, let's go
It's
inside.
like fanning right now. I can hear them.
Yeah, yeah, so crazy. So I'm gonna get that clear inner cover over there.
Clear inner cover? Oh,
This one right here.
Oh, that one.
Yep.
There we go.
And they are jamming right now, so I am going to, sometimes I close this off to keep it smaller, but still allow them to vent. And sometimes small hive beetles can get in, so if they're not a strong hive, but this hive is gonna be strong, so I'm just gonna pop this off. Sometimes I like thumbtacks in the bee yard, because sometimes if there's a frame that I need to come back and check, I'll just stick a thumbtack on the top of it. Like if there's a queen cell, or if there's something I need to do, it's just a really good reminder. I make a note, okay, I need to come back, and I'm like, oh, but which one do I need to do? Oh, the one with the thumbtack. So good to go. Again, these are really good genetics. It'd be nice to keep them, but I don't need them.